Ghost in the Sand. A promising land. Over 100 years have passed since the Earth had received the enigmatic signal from space, which was now generally assumed to be a threat rather than a warm welcoming, although no specific evidence was presented to support such assumption. But the humans never retreat, do they? When the first two planets susceptible of sustaining some very primitive life forms were discovered in the constellation of Andromeda, three things happened. At first, we all sighed with relief. Finally, there must be life in space after all. Next, we started to study the alien bacteria that we found under the surfaces of immense, almost completely frozen oceans. And then we shrugged our arms and went on. The newly discovered life forms appeared to be, paradoxically, far too familiar, far too insignificant to fuel the primary excitement of the encounter. Those who expected to find the seas full of krakens, leviathans and cthulhus were profoundly disappointed. Microbiologists, on the other hand, found themselves a new paradise, and paradigms, a source full of secrets and revelations, and a legitimate argument for the research funding to establish their lifetime achievements. The biologists went on to describe hundreds of species of single-celled bacterial organisms, varying in size from 2 to 12 micrometers. They considered their findings to be closely comparable to the archaea, microorganisms that inhabit most every environment on Earth. However, there are only two things that those researchers permitted to clarify for sure. First and foremost, if anyone doubted that, life on Earth appears to be anything but unique. Secondly, if anyone doubted that, the principal assumptions of good old Papa Darwin continue being proven valid far beyond our Mother Earth. Both new planets were therefore celebrated under the name of evolution, hence their lapidary names, Evo 1 and Evo 2. No wonder, however, that they did not spark too much of an enthusiasm, as both of them, extremely distant from the host star, appeared to have rather unwelcoming atmospheres. It was not until we reached the third possibly life-friendly world that we really started to feel some excitement. A desert planet named Evo 3 became the object of a close investigation, as it was thought to be the source of the signal that inspired so many hypotheses. Just when I was about to receive my PhD, a few blurred postcards from Evo 3 went around the world. Those first pictures of the surface taken by a satellite looked strangely familiar. They aroused that bizarre feeling one experiences when something obvious happens that was totally unexpected. For the first time in decades we felt that we might actually be staring at our new home. Evo 3, a sand giant, 10 times the size of the Earth, with 2 glittering moons and a rugged, rocky surface, was considered likely to sustain not only primitive, but also, supposedly, more developed forms of life. In the pictures from satellite, the face of the planet closely reminded the desert regions of the Earth. It was the third potentially habitable world on the way of human expansion in this area, but the first one to have such a friendly atmosphere with little to none toxicity and the average temperature only 5 degrees higher than it currently was on Earth. Unlike its cousins, Evo 1 and Evo 2, which were but theoretical options, Evo 3 could be the one. Its rough, desert plain, paradoxically, came to awaken hope. If it was not the biblical promised land, it certainly could be seen as a promising one.